In 65 BCE, a Greek merchant ship sank off the island of Antikythera. What divers pulled from the wreck 2,000 years later would force historians to rewrite everything they thought they knew about the ancient mine. The object itself looked like nothing. Corroded bronze gears fused into a lump no bigger than a shoebox. When archaeologists first examined it in 1901, they couldn't identify what they were holding. Some thought it was an astrolabe, others guessed a clock. One scholar suggested it was merely decorative, a piece of ancient jewelry that happened to have gears. They were all working with incomplete information, making the best call they could with what lay in front of them. But in the 1950s, a historian named Derek de Solla Price made a decision that changed everything. He chose to look closer. He applied X-ray technology, expensive, uncertain, not guaranteed to work on ancient metal. What he saw inside that lump stopped him cold. At least 30 interlocking gears, arranged with mathematical precision. This wasn't decoration, this was engineering. Price faced a choice: publish a careful hypothesis or risk looking foolish with a bold claim. He chose to commit. He called it the world's first computer. The academic world laughed. Computers were electric, they were modern, they required silicon and electricity. How could an ancient Greek mechanism possibly deserve that name? But Price was right. Modern scanning in the 2000s revealed the full picture. This device predicted the positions of the sun, moon, and planets up to 5 years in advance. It calculated lunar cycles. It accounted for leap years. It had at least 30 gears, some with over 200 teeth, cut with such precision that they could only have been made with metal lathes. Someone in ancient Greece had built a machine to impose order on the chaos of the heavens. Here's the question that haunts historians: why did this knowledge vanish? The mechanism dated to around 100 BCE, yet no other similar device has ever been found. No ancient text describes its construction. It's as if the entire scientific tradition that produced it simply stopped. The answer reveals something the Stoics understood perfectly: knowledge without systems dies. The Antikythera Mechanism wasn't just clever engineering, it was a statement of philosophy. It said, the universe follows laws. Those laws can be discovered, and once discovered, they can be modeled, predicted, and controlled through rational effort. The person or persons who built this device faced exactly the pressure you face now. They lived in a world of uncertainty. Wars, trade disruptions, political chaos. The Mediterranean was not a safe place, yet someone chose to invest years, maybe decades, building a machine that served no immediate survival purpose. No farmer needed to know where Jupiter would be 5 years hence. No merchant's profit depended on lunar calculations. They built it anyway, because the Stoics taught that the only real victory against chaos isn't controlling external events, it's controlling your response to them through reason. This mechanism embodied that principle. It didn't stop the planets from moving unpredictably. It didn't prevent wars or famines, but it imposed a framework of understanding on forces beyond human control. When that merchant ship sank, carrying this device to the bottom, the knowledge didn't survive with it. The scientific tradition fractured. The Roman Empire fragmented. Wars, plague, and economic collapse made sustained intellectual work impossible for centuries. The Stoics called this amor fati, the love of fate, not resignation, but acceptance that effort might fail and doing it anyway. The craftsperson who spent years perfecting those gears knew their work might be lost, probably did know it. Empires fall, ships sink, knowledge is fragile, yet they invested enormous skill and time anyway, not for guaranteed reward, but because the work itself was rational and worth doing. That's not naive optimism, that's Stoicism. This is what separates Stoic action from passive acceptance. The builder of the Antikythera Mechanism didn't wait for perfect conditions. They didn't demand certainty before investing effort. They worked within constraints, limited tools, uncertain patronage, a world that could collapse at any moment. And they created something so precise, so rational, that 2,000 years later, we're still learning from it. You're facing the same choice right now. You can't control the economy. You can't guarantee your efforts will be recognized. You can't predict which skills will be valuable 5 years from now. The world feels chaotic. Information overload, career uncertainty, relationships fragmented by distance and distraction. The Stoic response isn't to build a machine that predicts the future. It's to build systems for your own thinking, discipline, deliberate practice, rational frameworks for decision-making. work that has inherent value, independent of whether it succeeds. That's what the Antikythera Mechanism teaches. Order isn't something that happens to you. It's something you construct, gear by gear, choice by choice. The mechanism was lost for 2,000 years. Its knowledge died, yet the rational principle it embodied, that order can be imposed through systematic effort, survived in philosophy. And when we finally found it again, we recognized it immediately, because that principle is timeless. It's not dependent on the survival of any single object or text. It's embedded in how rational minds work. Your effort to build systems, whether intellectual, professional, or personal, won't be wasted even if circumstances destroy the specific outcome you're targeting, because the discipline itself becomes part of how you think. The gears mesh, the mechanism works, and long after external circumstances change, that internal order persists. So the answer to the hook's question, how does a lost ancient computer reveal the Stoic pursuit of order in chaos, comes down to this. It shows us that someone chose to build something rational and precise in the face of a world they couldn't control. They made that choice knowing failure was possible. They built anyway. And 2,000 years later, we're still learning from their decision to act despite uncertainty. That's the Stoic move, not controlling the outcome, controlling the quality of the effort, not waiting for perfect conditions, building your internal mechanisms now with the constraints you have, knowing they'll outlast any external chaos. Subscribe for weekly deep dives into how ancient thinkers solved problems you're facing right now.